Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Mariam Vijayaratna. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Private creditors should consider fair burden sharing, G7 leaders asserts. Apparel exports contracts by almost 24%, JAF says. News in detail. The Asian Regional Forum intersessional meeting to discuss on the topics of non-proliferation and disarmament was hosted by Sri Lanka and co-chaired with Thailand and the United States of America. The 14th Asian Regional Forum intersessional meeting was held in Colombo from 16th and 17th May.
Sri Lanka has been a member of the ARF since 2007. The ARF is an ASEAN-led mechanism for security dialogue in the Asia-Pacific region. The ARF meeting brought together officials from the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade of 22 ARF participant countries. The meeting was chaired by Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Sri Lanka, Satya Rodrigo, who also chaired discussions on the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Director General Rodrigo noted Sri Lanka's role in making the first calls for a special session on disarmament in 1975 and Sri Lanka's continued contribution to disarmament in regional and international fora. National Centre for Non-Destructive Testing of the Sri Lanka Atomic Energy also gave a presentation on the role of non-destructive testing and its application for manufacturing and construction industries. The Asian Regional Forum also provides a platform to foster constructive dialogue and consultation towards promoting confidence-building measures and preventive diplomacy in the region.
The G7 leaders said that private creditors of Sri Lanka should ensure fair burden sharing in line with the comparability of treatment principle when providing debt treatments. The group of 7 leaders stressed this in a statement following their annual summit in Hiroshima, Japan recently.
The G7 leaders said they remain concerned that serious challenges to debt sustainability and undermining the progress towards the sustainable development goals in low and middle income countries. The leaders reiterated the urgency of addressing the debt vulnerabilities in these countries. They pledged to fully support the implementation of the common framework for debt treatments beyond the debt service suspension initiative. They also pledged to do it in a predictable, timely, orderly and coordinated manner, providing clarity to participants. The leaders also welcomed the development of climate-resilient debt clauses to enhance the safety net for borrowers facing the impact of climate change. The leaders further encouraged more creditors to offer CRDC for loan agreements. They said that in order to enhance debt data accuracy and transparency, official bilateral creditors were invited to join the data sharing exercise for debt data reconciliation.
The Joint Apparel Association Forum said that the apparel exports of the country contracted by 23.99% to $318 million compared to April last year. The Joint Apparel Association Forum made this revelation, releasing a statement recently.
The month of April showed the sharpest year-on-year contraction in terms of export for the apparel industry. The exports totaled at $418 million in the corresponding month of the previous year. The most significant drop in apparel was seen from the European Union market, which dipped by 27.53, totaling at $90 million. Sri Lankan apparel exports to the United States contracted by almost 25% to $129 million, whereas the exports to the United Kingdom declined 26% when compared with April 2022. The exports to the other markets too contracted by 9.6% year-on-year. Accordingly, the cumulative exports for the first 4 months of the year recorded at $1.8 billion US, which is a 17% decline from the corresponding period of the previous year. The official data shows that Bangladesh's exports of apparel to the USA fell 13% in the first 3 months of the year, and Vietnam recorded a drop of 24%.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Connect with SLT Rainbow Pages, your true local surge.
Welcome back after the break. Official data shows that net foreign assets of Sri Lanka commercial banks have turned positive in the first quarter of 2023. By March 2023, net foreign assets of the banking system went up to 80.3 billion rupees, and it shows as 245 million US.
Measured in rupees, the combined foreign assets of domestic and offshore banking units of Sri Lanka's commercial banks grew 61.5 billion rupees in February 2023 from a negative 33.1 billion rupees a month ago. By March 2023, net foreign assets were positive by 494.4 billion rupees, indicating that bank dollar deposits were invested abroad on a net basis. Domestic banking units were still negative by 414 billion rupees by March, down from 446 billion rupees in February. Sri Lanka's banks borrowed abroad to lend domestically, including through Sri Lanka development bonds over a decade or more. Sri Lanka is now paying back private debt and is also building official foreign reserves. Building official reserves also has the same effect on the domestic economy as repaying foreign debt. Amid the private credit contraction and better management of state energy utilities, Sri Lanka's central bank has also allowed the exchange rate to appreciate, strengthening the underlying monetary standard of the country.
Sri Lankan Bureau of Foreign Employment said that nearly 2,700 young Sri Lankans have left for South Korea for employment opportunities up until May of this year. The Bureau said this, releasing a press statement recently.
The Bureau of Foreign Employment says 2,694 young men and 32 young women have gone to work according to the employment contracts sent to Sri Lanka up to date. The personnel belong to the employment fields of manufacturing, fishing and construction. The Ministry of Labour and Foreign Employment reveals that the Korean Human Resources Department has agreed to hire about 8,000 workers for Korean jobs in the current year. Accordingly, the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau has taken necessary steps to send the workers who have been selected to provide employment contracts by the Korean employers. The selection process will be done from among the young people who have entered the data on the website of the Korean Human Resources Department. Also, around 85,000 applications have been received for the Korean language test, which is currently being conducted.
U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Dasafreen Akhtar said that United States invested in Sri Lanka's economic recovery, highlighting the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. She said this at a media briefing held in Colombo to discuss on her diplomatic visit to Sri Lanka recently.
This is my second visit to Sri Lanka, and I am just so thrilled to be here in the year that is our anniversary of 75 years of diplomatic relations. The United States views Sri Lanka as a key partner in the Indo-Pacific region, and we are really excited to build our cooperation moving forward. We were particularly invested in Sri Lanka's economic recovery, having provided over $250 million in assistance and financing since the onset of the crisis last year. That includes over $40 million in fertilizer support to help farmers boost production, over $20 million in funding for school feeding programs, and other forms of assistance to help Sri Lanka really rebuild its economy. And we are working very closely with our partners, our allies, the IMF, multilateral development banks, and other institutions to ensure that Sri Lanka remains on the sustainable path to economic recovery. Beyond that, I've had some really great engagements with government entities, civil society, other stakeholders, a broad range of actors across Sri Lankan society to, again, advance our partnership, learn from Sri Lankans, and really support this partnership moving forward.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back with the stock updates.
Connect with the National Business Directory by SLT Mobitel. We are connecting businesses with their existing and potential customers to reach heights, helping at every point. Getting your business listed with the directory locally is the foundation of local SEO and the first step to acquiring more customers. Your true local search empowered through printed directory, digital directory, mobile app, ebook, call center 1212. SLT Mobitel, the connection.
Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today.
The all-share price index gained 119.86 points to close at 8,755.17, and the S&P SL20 gained 47.66 points to close at 2,496.55. The turnover was 0.9 billion rupees and over 42 million shares were traded.
Up next are Forex rates. That's all we have for tonight. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us.
State of Business was sponsored by
IWS